You're going to see why I tend to use talking points instead of scripts.
Out of the darkness, 3i Atlas came barreling into our system, an alien from another world.
Hey there, welcome to Just Talking with Grampy Jag. So today's subject, sun. Today's subject, as you may have noticed, has something to do with the moon, the stars, the planets, and things floating through our star system. Oh, look at, I've got a halo. I'm a good boy. In any case, what we're talking about is a little chunk of rock called 3i Atlas. Have you heard of 3i Atlas, the comet-like rocky body that has come into our solar system from another stellar system? Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably have heard something about how aliens are riding this rock into our solar system to investigate Earth, or destroy Mars, or perhaps turn Jupiter into another star for our stellar system. Or a host of any other off-the-wall stories you may have heard on places like, well, YouTube! Not that that's what I'm doing. Have you noticed how hard it is to get information about 3i Atlas? There is a seemingly little information from legitimate sources, yet a plethora of AI YouTube channels reporting things that are probably, they just could never happen. So I don't get it. That's what this is about. I was tripping through what I could find for news, scientific reviews, various social media, any place I could try and find information on this comet thing. What I noticed was absolute silence from any source I would trust initially, and numerous stories that were, let's just say, a little far out on the branch. Yeah, they were a little hard to believe. One has to wonder, with as much interest as there is in this stellar body, that scientific sources and government sources and private sources are not providing information. They are instead allowing non-informational sources to dominate what and where people are learning about this event. So hey, everybody likes a good conspiracy story, right? Except, of course, when the story blocks information we are actually needing to know or are interested in knowing, which seems to be the case here. I mean, would aliens visiting be interesting? Sure. I just don't think that is what is happening here. I want to know about this stellar traveler, this rock, this comet. However, I can't get any good information from sources like, well, NASA, which should be the go-to place for something like this. I cannot find stories in the mainstream media that tell me much of anything about what's going on. What I can find is so much speculation and outright fantasy that is being touted as factual to an audience that may or may not be well enough informed to understand that what they are seeing is a complete fabrication. This is what we're getting on your social media websites. Suffice it to say, you can always find a conspiracy if you look hard enough. Now, I got to tell you, the fact that the government shut down right before this time, that we would be able to get the best pictures of the comet, and the fact that the cameras on all of the best viewing spots for 3i Atlas seem to have had faults or other problems right when this comet was supposed to be at its closest to them, and the fact that we get nothing but silence from the agencies that should be keeping us up to date on all of these incidents is kind of, well, interesting, shall we say. I am not the kind of person who likes coincidences, and there are too many coincidences in this story. When you start getting coincidences on disparate subjects at disparate times, like this one has to wonder what we are being distracted from. I'm not saying aliens are coming to our solar system. I'm not saying that UAPs, UFOs, flying saucers, whatever you want to call them now, the label of the week, are visitors from outer space, inner space, or another dimension. What I am saying is these events typically see a lot of coverage when we are not supposed to be looking at something else. So this is either a really huge effort to cover up Three Eye Atlas with the government, both left and right, coordinating to shut down and give us plausibility that we just don't have anybody working to see what's going on, or that we're not supposed to be focusing on something else they don't want us to be aware of. I simply want the best information and pictures of Three Eye Atlas that my tax money is supposedly paying for. I don't really care about any other cloak and dagger stuff that's going on with the government. I realize Avi Loeb has cracked open the door on this whole alien thing, and it's an interesting idea, but I'm not getting the information I'm looking for to make my own determination. Let's turn the sun off there for a little bit. We'll go over by Mooney. There we go. Yep, here we go. We lost our place. I am not getting the information I'm looking for to make my own determination. I don't want to be spoon-fed what somebody else thinks I should think. I want the data so I can make my own determination. I am old. Or let's just say, I'm old enough that I was taught how to interpret data, discern what is likely real and what is likely a one-off event, and to make my own decisions regarding said data. My generation was taught to question everything. Question the government. Question authority. Question anything you think you needed to make a decision or determination about. Today, we are just supposed to consume whatever is spoon-fed to us on any given news cycle. Maybe it's a good thing. I'm old this way. I don't have to deal with this malarkey for much longer. Or maybe, perhaps, I should be doing the most that I can to see that our younger generation is able to make critical decisions themselves. Just a thought. So, powers that be, which do you want? Give me some interesting stuff that I'm looking for about Three Eye Atlas, or I'll start teaching young people to think for themselves. It's your choice. Thank you all for tuning in today to Grampy Jag for another edition of Just Talkin', where I get the jabber about anything that happens to pop into my head at any given time. Don't forget we have other playlists on other subjects. Eventually there will be a little bit of something for everybody. Subscribe, comment, give me a thumbs up. I love coffee. Send me a coffee. And thanks for making it to the end of this video. Y'all have a great day. Hey, it's after October 29th. Anybody know what happened?